Factors. Today we're going to talk about what are factors. Factors are the two numbers you multiply together to get an answer called the product. Here's an example. 7 times 3 equals 21. Your factors are 7 and 3. Those are the two numbers being multiplied together to get the product of 21. We're going to learn how to find factors for a number. You can make a list or a rainbow. We're going to take a look at both methods. Using the example of using the examples below, we're going to start with number 12. How do we find factors of 12? I'm going to show you using a rainbow first. Using the rainbow method, I always start with the number 1 and the number itself. 1 times 12 is 12. I make a line connecting it, which is how it gets the name, the rainbow method. Then I go in consecutive order, which means I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So I check to see, is 2 times anything 12? And yes, 2 times 6 is 12. Again, I make the connector looking like a rainbow. Then I ask myself if 3 times anything is 12. Yes, 3 times 4 is 12. And then my next number in consecutive order would be 4. I've already used 4 because 4 times 3 is 12. So I start repeating the factors I've already used. When I start to repeat factors, I know I've got all of them. If you choose to list the factors, it's basically the same thing. It just looks a little different when you record it. I still know that 1 and 12 make 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and that's it. Again, I've listed the factors that make 12. I like to go down vertically, and that way when I would hit a repeat, I would be able to see that vertically going down. Let's try another one. How about 8? Using the rainbow method, I would start with 1 and 8. 2 times 4. I cannot think of anything 3 times something to make 8. And then I'm already back at 4, which I've already used, so I know I've completed all the factors. If I list them, it would look like 1 times 8, 2 times 4. And that's it. Let's try 45. There's more factors for this number. 1 and 45. 2 times nothing makes 45. I know that because 45 is an odd number, and 2 makes all even numbers, not odd. 3 times 15 makes 45. 4 times nothing. 5 times 9. 6 times nothing. 7 times nothing. 8 times nothing. And then I'm back at 9 where I start repeating. So I got all the factors of 45. Again, if you choose to list them, 1 and 45, 3 and 15, nothing times 4, 5 times 9, and then nothing times 6, 7, 8, and then I'm back at 9 again. Okay, it's your turn now. Pick which way you would like to show factors. You can list them or you can use the rainbow method. Hit pause on the video now, and when you're ready to check your answers, hit play again, and the answers will appear. Pause now. Do this in your spiral. Take a second and check your work. Did you list all the factors for 20? How about 18? Did you catch them all? And 36. There might be a couple in there that you didn't know right off the top of your head. Make sure you got them all. Now we're going to look at greatest common factors. To find the greatest common factor, you do the same method. You either list all the factors or you use the rainbow method to list them. And then we're going to see which one is the greatest one they have in common. So I'll start with 2. The only factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Now I'm ready to see which is the one that they have in common that is the greatest. It looks like 2 is their greatest common factor. So you would say the GCF is 2. Let's try harder numbers. Factors for 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, 5 times nothing, and then I'm back to 6 times 4. So I start to repeat. Let's think of factors of 27. 1, 27. 2 times nothing because it's an even number, or an odd number, sorry. 3 times 9. 4 times nothing is 27. 5 times nothing. 6 times nothing. 7 times nothing. 8 times nothing, and I'm back to 9. 9 times 3 I've already used. I've got all the factors of 27. So if I'm looking for the greatest common factor, it looks like 3 would be my GCF. When do you use common factors? You use them when you are simplifying or reducing fractions. We have 4 examples to look at. The first fraction is 20 over 24. Now you could come out to the side and list all your factors of 20 and all your factors of 24, but that could take a while. So a faster way of doing it is to think of any factor that they have in common. So when I'm thinking of 20, the first fact that comes to mind is 5 times 4. I look down at 24 and I think, does 5 or 4 make 24? And I think, yes, 4 does. So 4 is a factor that they have in common. That's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to divide them both by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now, using this method, it's just any common factor. There is a chance that you will have to reduce or simplify that fraction again. In this particular case, it gets down to 5/6, and that is simplest form. But I have to be aware that because I didn't necessarily choose the greatest common factor, I may have to simplify again. Let's look at another example. 20 over 45. Again, I'm thinking to myself, for the first fact that comes to mind for 45 is 9 times 5. And I think, yes, 5 also makes 20. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 45 divided by 5 is 9. Again, I need to look at 4/9 and make sure that they do not have a common factor. I know 3 times 3 makes 9. 3 times nothing makes 4. And I know 1 times 9 makes 9. 1 times 9 does not make 4, 1 or 9. So this is simplest form. Let's look at our third example. 21 over 56. I'm going to start with 56. I always start with the biggest number. The denominator is the biggest one. So I'm going to say 8 times 7 comes to mind when I think of 56. I go up to 21 and I think, yes, 7 times 3 is 21. So 7 is a factor that they both have in common. I'm going to divide them by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 56 divided by 7 is 8. Again, I need to look at 3/8 and make sure that they do not have a common factor. And they don't. That is simplest form. One more. 18 over 63. I'm going to start with the larger number, 63, and I'm thinking to myself, 9 times 7 is 63. I go up to 18, and I think, yes, 9 times 2 is 18. So 9 will be the number, the common factor that I divide them by. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 63 divided by 9 is 7. Again, I double check to make sure that 2/7 cannot be simplified. And it can't. That is simplest form.